Welcome to this video about what to do with your very first paycheck. We'll explore whether you should spend it all or lay the foundation to retire early. We'll break down a simple system to make your money work for you from day one. Let's get started. Here's our roadmap. First, we'll talk about why your first paycheck is such a pivotal moment. Next, we'll cover the pay yourself first rule and an easy 50-30-20ths breakdown. Then, we'll set up automation, discuss rewarding yourself without derailing progress, and dive into the immense power of compounding. We'll also quiz you briefly, compare paths, and close with key takeaways and next steps. Your first paycheck is a milestone and a psychological turning point. When you have money and few responsibilities, the temptation to spend everything is huge. However, the habits you build now will set the trajectory of your financial future. Instead of falling into the spend-it-all trap, you can establish a system that creates long-term security and flexibility. With that in mind, let's transition to the golden rule that will guide everything. The most important habit to build is paying yourself first. Before any purchases, decide where every dollar goes. A practical split is 50% toward long-term growth through savings and diversified investments like broad market index funds, 30% toward short-term reserves such as an emergency fund, and 20% reserved for fun spending. This ensures progress, protection, and enjoyment. Now that we've framed the rule, let's visualize how this system flows in real life. This flowchart illustrates the journey from paycheck to purpose. The paycheck arrives, then immediately splits into three destinations: long-term growth, short-term reserves, and fun money. The diagram includes account setup and automations dated on payday to remove friction. A feedback loop returns monthly to review and adjust percentages or amounts as your situation evolves. This visual keeps you focused on consistent execution rather than impulse decisions. Next, we'll translate this flow into concrete action steps you can implement today. Let's make it actionable. First, open a brokerage account for investing and a high-yield savings account for your emergency fund. Next, schedule automatic transfers to align with your payday. Half into investments, 30% into emergency savings, and the remainder left for fun spending. Choose low-cost, broad market index funds appropriate for your region to keep fees low and diversification high. Enable recurring contributions so deposits happen without willpower. Label accounts in a way that reminds you of their purpose. Finally, put a brief monthly review on your calendar to confirm everything is running as intended and to make small adjustments as your income evolves. Now, with the system running, how do you enjoy your money without sabotaging progress? Building motivation matters. Set aside 15 to 20% of your first paycheck to buy something meaningful, like quality headphones or a course that improves your skills. Experiences and useful tools tend to deliver lasting value. On the other hand, avoid creating a habit loop of frequent small purchases that provide little benefit, such as expensive cologne or trendy trinkets. The goal is to celebrate without adding recurring expenses or undermining your savings routine. With rewards in balance, let's examine the time advantage you have right now. Time is your strongest ally. Starting at 16, with even modest amounts leverages compounding, where gains build on top of gains. Low-cost, broad market index funds provide diversified exposure and minimize fees. While long-term averages of 6 to 8% are often cited historically, nothing is guaranteed, and returns fluctuate. What matters most is consistent investing and avoiding the distractions of trend chasing or market timing. To make this more concrete, let's look at some illustrative scenarios. These examples are simplified and illustrative only. For instance, contributing $100 per month for 24 years at about 7% could grow to roughly the mid-$70,000 to $80,000 range, including the initial $500. Doubling that monthly amount at 6% might approach the low to mid-$130,000 range. Conversely, investing only the initial $500 at 8% over the same period would grow to just a few $1,000s. This contrast highlights why consistent contributions matter far more than one-time moves. Next, let's test your understanding with a quick quiz. Quiz time. The question is, what is the first move under Pay Yourself First when your $500 paycheck hits? Option A, buy something you've wanted, then save what's left. Option B, automatically send money into designated savings and investment buckets before spending. Option C, wait a week to see what's trending on social media before deciding. Option D, keep it all in checking for flexibility. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is to automatically send money into designated savings and investment buckets before spending. Automation protects your plan and reduces the chance of impulsive decisions. Now, let's compare the spend it all path with the invest early path. On the left, spending everything provides immediate gratification, but leaves you with no momentum, risks lifestyle creep, lacks an emergency buffer, and misses the early compounding window. On the right, starting to invest while keeping rewards within 15 to 20%, builds sustainable habits, creates a safety net, harnesses compounding, and operates with a clear, automated system. Now, let's reinforce the money routing process with a different perspective. This sequence diagram shows the order of events from deposit to allocation. The employer sends a $500 direct deposit to your checking account. On the same day, half automatically transfers to your brokerage, 30% to your high-yield savings for emergencies, and 20% remains for discretionary spending. A note reminds you that recurring contributions and a quick monthly review keep the system optimized. With the routing clear, let's do one more quick quiz to lock it in. Here's your second quiz. What is a smart upper limit for your reward budget from your first paycheck? Option A, 5 to 10%. Option B, 15 to 20%. Option C, 40 to 50%. Option D, 0%, no reward. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is 15 to 20%. This range allows you to celebrate without compromising your savings and investing consistency. Now, before we wrap up, a quick but important disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. Everyone's situation is different, including your age, location, tax status, and risk tolerance. Consider consulting a qualified professional for personalized guidance. With that clear, let's recap the essential points you can act on today. Here are the key points. First, pay yourself first consistently. Second, the 50-30-20 structure is a practical starting point that you can adjust to your needs. Third, automate both investments and emergency savings. Fourth, reward yourself within 15 to 20% to maintain motivation. Fifth, avoid chasing trends and focus on low-cost diversified funds. Finally, schedule a brief monthly review to ensure your system continues to fit your evolving circumstances. Now let's wrap up with immediate next steps. To close, here are your next moves. Open your accounts and set up automatic transfers. Choose a broad market index fund and begin with a small recurring contribution. Decide on a meaningful reward in the 15 to 20% range. Put a 10-minute monthly check-in on your calendar. Above all, stay consistent. Small, steady actions today create outsized options tomorrow. Thanks for watching. If this was helpful, please like the video, share it with someone getting their first paycheck, and subscribe for more actionable money guides. In the comments, tell us your first paycheck plan and the one reward you'll choose within your budget.